Hello and welcome to the Power of Positive Thinking. My name is Emily Whelan and I'm here to help you learn how to grow and develop a more positive mindset. And this week I'm going to talk about the biggest lies we tell ourselves and how we can change it. And what I mean in relation to lies is they're actually stories. So it's about taking on stories that we have created. But more importantly, which is very often the case, we take on other people's stories. We take on other people's beliefs, basically take on other people's crap and make it our own. So I'm putting my hand up here and saying, yes, I am guilty of that. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute just how this story and belief that I kind of took on board myself stopped at my growth for over 10 years of my life. So just to rewind back a few years, when I was growing up, I was always very passionate about music, and it was a career that I wanted to follow. That was the path that I wanted to follow. But unfortunately, I took on this belief that it wasn't a real job, that, I needed to come up with a backup plan. And there was many factors that influenced my beliefs around this. Yes, I wanted to pursue a career in music, but at a very young and impressionable age, my peers, people that were older than me, even society itself, tends to dictate that, we go to college, we study, we get a job, we have a career, we get married, we have kids, then we put money away into a pension, and that's kind of, it's almost like it's nearly laid out in the path in front of us. But I always kind of never really wanted that for myself, and I kind of went against the grain in some aspects of my life because it wasn't really true for me. It didn't really sit well with me. So I was always very conflicted, and I always found myself at this crossroads, will I pursue what I want to pursue, or should I go and get a real job and have that safety and have that security that I was led to believe. So again, I was taking on other people's stories, other people's beliefs, and making them my own. So this took me quite a few years to understand. And then, it was kind of like this aha moment where I realised, actually, I am the creator of my own destiny, and this story doesn't actually belong to me anymore. So after realising, that this wasn't my story, this was actually the story of the people that, felt they were doing right by me in my life, the people that were, that loved me, that cared for me. It was actually projection of their own fears, their own worries, and their own, insecurities about my future. They thought, well, being a musician is a really, really difficult path to go down, and there's ups and downs, and it can be a difficult journey. There's no guarantee of a weekly income and things to get there. So I can understand where they were coming from. They were coming from a really, really good place, but yet I bought that story. I bought that t-shirt and I wore it for 10 years of my life, and I don't want you to make the same mistake, and this is why I want to share a little bit about my own experience with this. So we also have to take 100% responsibility for our own choices and our own lives. If we buy into these stories, we know we can't blame other people for the circumstances that we find ourselves in. We have to take full responsibility. We are responsible for making our own life choices. You probably know by now, if you've been watching my videos, that I'm a firm believer that we create our own future. We make choices every single day, and that's what shapes our destiny. And very often those choices that we're making each and every day are a product of the stories that we tell ourselves. So we disempower ourselves by taking on other people's stories and making it our own, making it about us. So I had created, the story for myself that, well, I have to have a real job, and I have to, have a career, and I have to have a good wage coming in, and I have to meet somebody, settle down, and all of this here. So I bought into that whole story. And for 10 years, I worked my way up a career that was, ultimately very, very stressful, extremely unfulfilling. I wasn't following my passions, my ambitions, and my desires, and I ended up being really, really unhappy. But that's a story for another day. But then finally, one day, I did realise, the penny dropped, that actually this is not the life that I want to create for myself. So I started to rewrite my own story. And this is where I want you to take action right now. Now, this exercise is not for the faint-hearted, and it's not something that you can rush through in 5 minutes. I really want you to take time out to complete this exercise. Really be honest with yourself. So I want you to sit down with yourself, and I want you just to write down all the stories that you have been telling yourself. There's no right or wrong in this exercise. Just empty your thoughts about this. What are the stories that you've been telling yourself? And write it all down. And then what I want you to do is rip it up. Okay, throw it away, burn it, get rid of it, because they are now your old stories. And what I want you to do next is to rewrite your new story and make a promise to yourself and a commitment to yourself that you're going to take steps towards creating this new story in your life so you can start living a more fulfilling life. And believe me, it's not an easy task to do. It's very, very scary, and sometimes we have to take a leap of faith. But I'm so glad that I realised, even though it took me 10 years, and I ended up, leaving that job and pursuing my ambitions and becoming a life coach and having a fantastic career in music and touring and recording. It was absolutely wonderful, and I'm so glad that I did that. So, don't let your stories keep you stuck and hold you back from achieving your goals and your dreams. You have got this, and if you need any support, please contact me, at my website, or drop me a comment in the comments below. I'd love to help you. I'd love to hear from you. And just for one last tip before I go, the next time you feel that you're maybe buying into a story that doesn't feel right for you, or you might feel like maybe somebody's projecting their own story onto you and it doesn't sit well with you, I want you to ask yourself this question. Who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? Okay, I'm going to end on that note. Thank you so much for tuning in. Visit my website www.emilywhelancoaching.com. There's lots of video blogs there you can go and watch. I'd love to hear from you. Please share this video as well if you liked it, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.